Hi, Tosin Edu. Hmm. So this is a conversation that we have been having for a minute, and I was supposed to come back earlier on today to have it, but I was in a meeting that just simply did not end. So it's been it's been quite a tough one for me. How are you doing? How are you all doing? So earlier on, if you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen, double click the screen. If you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen. Henry the Great, how are you doing? Daniela Macron, how are you doing? Vidoma, how are you all doing? Shupo, how are you doing? Beauty by Glory, shout out to you. Son of Yuku, how you day? So abroad is cheaper than Nigeria. A Twitter commenter suggested, and we're going to break it down today. We're going to break it down to the best of our abilities. We're going to break it down, and we're going to try to make it make sense. Brume was on earlier with me, and it was a wonderful expose with Brume. If you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, remember super chats and super stickers. And if you are watching on Facebook, remember to send my stars. Facebook is having a bit of a challenge right now. We've been having network issues only on Facebook. Every other platform has been fine. Double click the screen if you're watching on TikTok. Double click the screen. Click the screen. So I'm going to read out. I don't know. The phone I'm using for Facebook. I'm not sure if it is the phone that is having issues or what else, but the phone has just been. It can't load App Store. Let me see if that's a phone thing. I'm trying to see. Can't load App Store. Wow. So App Store been get issues with that. Oh wow. Oh wow. So Apple to get your own issue as we they talk. General uh, software update. Okay, this one at least can see my software is up to date, but it can't load the it can't load the Apple Store. I don't know what's wrong with it. So it's been having issues with that. Double click the screen if you're watching on TikTok. I might have to use another phone because we can't load, so it's not seeing Facebook. Oof, 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 oof. Do I have another phone that I can use? Anyway, guys, how are you doing? So, what we're going to do is we're going to try as much as possible to compare onions with onions and apples with apples. One of the biggest mistakes we make is we compare onions with apples. I want to use this phone, this Fold 5. I want to use this for the uh, 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 the Facebook. So guys, I'm so sorry. Forgive me, but I'm gonna try to use this for Facebook. Okay. I just want to set Facebook up before we go any further. So okay, Facebook is here. Um, save Facebook. Come on, man. So the topic is abroad. Sorry, the topic is, forgive me, guys. Abroad is cheaper than Nigeria. Okay, so Facebook. So we're going live on Facebook via this medium, and there it goes. Okay, so I think. Okay, so Facebook is finally on. I think the problem was the iPhone that I was using. You want to see me? So let us start the debate earnestly, and I'm going to be bringing people live. So if you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen, and if you're watching on Facebook, uh, remember to send your stars. YouTube and Instagram. Big shout out to you guys. So okay, so this is how it all started. There was a Twitter post that said this. You could see it on Linda Ikeji's blog, uh, and the post said, it's done by someone. It was done by someone called Ife Chidere. Ife Chidere. It says fuel tank in Houston costs $45. In Nigeria, 445,000 naira. Depending on what car you have, and I don't know how they got to that measurement, but I'll say that one makes sense. Let's move on, because $45 is like 45,000 naira. Consistent internet stroke airtime per month abroad in Houston costs $30, while in Nigeria it costs 70,000 naira. I spoke about this at length earlier on. I said I totally disagree. In my house, we have fiber optic internet, and we pay about 25K a month. I run two internet service providers back to back. One costs about 17K monthly, the other one 25K. So together is about 42K. If I were to add my phone, I spend about 10K a month on phone calls and about 5K a month on data for my phone. I buy 20 gig and I use that when I'm out of the house. Once I'm on the house, I'm on either one of the plans. So for a house of a guy who live streams 2 to 3 times a day, someone says with data restrictions, no data restrictions, not on the fiber optics. No, I have no data restrictions. On my 25K plan, I watch 3 televisions and live stream. My children are watching their TV. They're on holiday, so they're awake at this time. They're watching television, and it's super clear. Once in a while, it has issues like every other thing in Nigeria, but I've never spent more than 25K. Sometimes when it has issues, I have the backup. The backup, I think, is pegged at about 200 gig or 150 gig or 170 gig. That one is pegged, and that one is 17K. The other one is unlimited, and it is seamless. Someone says, DF, do not compare your life to the average Nigerian in Nigeria. You are rich. Oh. First of all, I don't consider myself rich. Secondly, we are working with parameters within certain borders. So if the person speaks of fuel tank, whether you are rich or poor, this is how much 1 liter of fuel is in Nigeria, whether you can afford it or not. Whether you are rich or poor, this is how much data costs in Nigeria, whether you are poor or not. If you live in Lekki, for instance, and you are poor, the data, they don't have poor people's version of data. It costs about 25K a month for fiber optics. Someone is saying we are talking about the masses here. We are not talking about the masses. Now, please, let's move this argument away from the masses. Somebody said is making a comparison between Houston and Nigeria. It's not everything that is masses. Masses, can you please rest? This topic is not for the masses. This topic is a comparison. Whether you are rich or you are poor, fuel tank is fuel tank. Someone said there is no unlimited internet in Nigeria. That is a lie. I have unlimited internet in Nigeria and it is unlimited. Try IPNX. Their unlimited is unlimited. And I'm not the only one that uses it. My neighbors all use it. And all their kids. My kids play their PlayStation 5 on the internet. They watch their TV on the internet. I live stream on the internet. I watch Netflix. Or there are days that IPNX will have its IPNX issues, but out of a month, I can guarantee you that you will have up to 25 days with no hassles and no problem. There will always be those 2 3 days here a month when they are fixing one thing and the internet will be shaking here, and that's why I have the backup. But to be honest, IPNX is on, and let me tell you what is with IPNX. IPNX is fiber optic. There is a cable under the ground to my bedroom. It is unlimited. 25k internet, we know they finish out for 1 month. It only finishes when the month ends, then it finishes. Like for instance, sometimes because the way I started buying my own, I started buying towards the end of the month, so like 24th or 25th, the internet will finish. But the moment I put in another month's own, I have it for it. It will tell you when it will end. If you load the internet on the 24th, you have it till 24th of next month. So don't let's make the argument. Don't let's be myopic and short-sighted and start making the argument about the rich and the poor. This is not the market of argument of the rich and the poor. How much is a liter of fuel in abroad? How much is a liter of fuel in Nigeria? We are comparing. Let's not stop. You know, the problem with people is they're now going to bring in all sorts of emotions, and they're going to tie all sorts of emotions to it, and they're going to say that the phrase is speaking for the rich. I'm not speaking for the rich. 1 kilogram of cotton is the same weight as 1 kilogram of rocks. 1 kilogram is 1 kilogram. Unit is unit. 1 kilogram of cotton might be 10 bags of cotton, and 1 kilogram of rocks might be 3 small rocks. But 1 kilogram is 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram of feathers is the same weight as 1 kilogram of lead. 1 kilogram of lead is not heavier than 1 kilogram of feathers. So, the next thing that was said is, she said, 2 bedroom rent per year abroad cost about $9,600. $9,600 in Houston is about 9 million naira. 2 bedroom rent in Nigeria will cost you about 2 million to 3 million. Now, I am using Lekki as a case study because when Houston is not the most expensive place in America, a decent place in Lekki, a 2 bedroom house will set you back between 2 million and 3 million. A 2 bedroom house in Lekki, in Banana Island, a 2 bedroom house will set you back 15 million a year very easily. Very easily in Banana Island or in Ikoyi, you pay, or in Atlantic Estate or Atlantic Beach, what do they call that place? You spend 20 million naira for a 2 bedroom flat for a year. But you see, Lekki is somewhere in between. It's not so low as Ikorodu or Mushin, and it's not as low as Aja, all those areas. So 2 million to 2.5 million to 3 million, between 2 and 3 million, you will get a decent two-bedroom flat in Lekki. It might not be Lekki phase one, but at least between Lekki and VGC, let me put it like that, you'll get a decent, nice two-bedroom flat in an estate that functions. So the person was trying to say is, the person was trying to compare the standard of living in Nigeria versus abroad. The person also went on, that Ifechidere also went on to say, home security per month abroad is $0. In Nigeria, it's 15,000 naira. Well, if you live in one of those estates in Lekki, you pay service charge of between 40,000 and 100,000 a month as service charge. So if you divide what is appropriated to security, it will come to between 15 and 50,000. So that part I kind of agree with. She now says quality food or groceries per month. In Houston, it costs about $700. I've never lived in Houston, so I'm relying on her statistics. In Nigeria, it costs about 200K a month. Now, in a two-bedroom flat, you will probably have a very small family, maybe a young couple, or maybe a couple with one child, maximum two children. So for a family of four, because for you to live in a two-bedroom house, you can't be more than you, your wife, two children, and a nanny at most, or a family member to help with the kids. So 200,000 naira to 250K should be enough to have a decent life regarding food, groceries, and shopping. You would manage and have a balanced diet. For a family of six, four children, two parents, by the time you add house help or family members staying with them, you will say, let's say you spend between 300 and 400,000, which is far less than the $700, because $700 is about 650K today's money. So Nigeria is cheaper than abroad when it comes to rent. Is cheaper than abroad when it comes to food. Security abroad is free. In Nigeria, you're going to have to pay something for it. Then she said consistent electricity abroad is $0. That's a lie, a blatant lie. Nobody gets free electricity abroad. Where do you live? Dubai? I think maybe in Saudi Arabia they have free electricity, or in Libya. In America, electricity is definitely being paid, is definitely not cheap. Like I said, cheap is also relative, but that you put $0 is impossible. Do you have a windmill in your house? Do you have a solar panel on top of your house? No. Abroad, consistent electricity will cost you from between £150 or $150 to as high as $250, $300 or pounds. Now, I was trying to say, I'm not sure you can live in a two-bedroom flat and spend 400K on electricity, especially if you live in an estate. If you live on your own, but most houses that are two-bedroom flats, you never see a two-bedroom flat standing alone in Lekki, for instance. It will either be part of a high rise or it will be part of an estate. And most of these high rises and estates share power. So 400,000 a month would make sense for a house like mine. I have a four-bedroom house with a main sitting room downstairs, a small sitting room upstairs. Even I don't spend 400,000 a month on electricity. We spend more like 250K. And that is because I don't power my ACs 24 hours. I only power my ACs when I need them. If I'm sleeping, my AC is on. The moment I wake up and I can jump into the shower, if I'm too hot, I will put off the AC. I'm not one of those people that use AC to pose. You understand? I'm sorry. Some people I know people who burn their AC 24 hours a day. I'm not one of them. I don't burn my AC 24 hours a day. I burn my AC maybe 4, 5, 6 hours, depending on how long I'm sleeping for. Once I'm awake, and let me tell you something: if you burn your in this cold weather, even in the heat, if you burn your AC from say 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. because today it's 1:30 already and I'm not in bed, so the likelihood that I'll go to bed earlier than 3 o'clock is very slim. So let's say I go to bed at 3 and I wake up by 9, so my AC is powered for 6 hours. My room will be cool until about 2 p.m. Because once I wake up, I turn on the AC and I don't open my windows till about 2 p.m. So from 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, I will still have a relatively cool room. Sometimes I open the window, not because it is hot, but because it has started getting stuffy. So I want fresh air in the room. You understand? So I don't know. I'm sure there are people who burn 400K a month on power bills. But I believe for a two-bedroom house, that's a bit of an exaggeration. How many AC units can you possibly have in a two-bedroom house? Maximum, you're gonna have maybe three ACs, one in the parlor, two in each room. So you're gonna be powering three ACs. You can't have more than one deep freezer in a two-bedroom house, and maybe one double decker fridge, or what do they call that, double door fridge, one freezer, and then your appliances. I'm looking at a more realistic 200 to 300K max, with as low as 150K, and you have 24 hours. Like I have 24 hours. Like sometimes they're just switching the power, they take it for 5 minutes or max 10 minutes. On the average, they take it for 1 minute and then they switch power. Once in a while, we're live. You guys are live with me every day. Once in a while, something happens and they take the light for 30 minutes. Rarely. So what I'm trying to say is most estates in Lagos, for a two-bedroom flat, you would probably be spending between 150 and 200K. I doubt if you spend up to 400K. But like I said, some people want to burn their ACs 24 hours. And then some people still have, there's some estates that people are still allowed to have generators. We're not even allowed to have generators in my estate because of noise pollution. So they have a centralized power plant. Now, she also says only 1% of Nigerians earn above 1 million per month, while 10% earn 200 to 300K. I'm not sure where she got those statistics from, but I can assure you that less than 1% of Nigerians earn above 1 million naira a month, less than, far less. And instead of 10% earn 200 to 300K, I'll put that to about 2%, max 3%. While the average monthly wage in Houston is $4,000. Now, I'm going to address that, and I addressed this earlier on. There are quite a few people that I know that earn $4,000 and above in Nigeria. People that do internet work, all those scrum masters that live in Nigeria, many skit makers and content creators and influencers earn about that. There was a very popular influencer. I was talking to his lawyer. The lawyer said the guy walked into his office and said he needed a representative. Apparently, the guy was supposed to be brand ambassador for two different bleaching cream companies. So it's like me collecting money from Airtel and MTN to be their brand ambassador. Then I now start being their brand ambassador. Then Airtel and MTN now find out, why are we, the two of us, using Daddy Freeze? So they now sued. Each of them paid about 160 million for that brand ambassador. So this guy had about 320, or this person had about 320 million as brand ambassador for two different companies. And the first thing the lawyer said was, wow, there's this kind of money flying around in this kind of business that the two people pay one person as high as this. It was the lawyer that was telling us. Of course, I'm not going to talk about the person, but I'm just giving you an idea. So you'd be amazed what these influencers that have brand ambassador deals have. And it is fair to say that there are quite a few influencers and content creators that earn at least $4,000 a month. In Nigeria, as a doctor, the likelihood that you earn $4,000 a month is very slim. As a nurse, it is also very slim. Abroad, it's very easy. As a doctor in the US, you definitely $4,000 a month is actually poor salary for a doctor, because that means you are earning $48,000 a year and you are classified as earning very poorly. So if you are a doctor abroad, your income would start from about $150,000 a year to as high as $800,000, $900,000 a year, depending on your specialty. If you are a cardiothoracic surgeon or you are a neurosurgeon, you will definitely be earning in the 500, 600, 700 range. As a nurse, it's very easy abroad to earn $120,000. In Nigeria, no nurse, I'm not sure there's any nurse in Nigeria, living in Nigeria, that earns $120,000 a year from nursing. Maybe if they add content creation to their nursing, or they do oil deals or whatever else they do, um, they will be able to. But I'm not sure there's any nurse who works as a nurse in Nigeria that earns $4,000 a month. So what was I trying to say? Depending on your career choice, there are some career choices that Nigeria will favor you, and there are some career choices that abroad will favor you. Now, we made the assumption that if you're earning $5,000 a month in Nigeria and abroad, and let's say you pay at the end of the day, you end up paying 40%, your tax will be about $2,000 a month. So you are left with $3,000 a month. If you live in Nigeria and you earn $3,000 a month, you will save $2,000 easily if you are not a spendthrift. If you live abroad and you earn $3,000 a month, you will barely scrape by. You will not have savings. Maybe you'll be lucky to save $50 a month. In Nigeria, you can very easily live on $1,000 a month and have a decent life. $1,000 a month. Your rent alone is like $2,000 a year in a two-bedroom flat that we are talking about. So $2,500. So your 1 month salary will pay your 1 year rent. How much? So by the time your 4 months salary can take care of you for your life. The remaining 5 months or 6 months is your savings. You can turn it into buying a car or property or watch or whatever it is you want to buy at the end of the year. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're earning $3,000 a month, and there are many people who do this from all sorts of walks of life: content creation, scrub masters, IT back end workers, all those kind of people. They are called their jobs are not location based. You can be hired from Mexico to work a back end IT job in Russia, the same way you can be hired in Oshogbo to work a back end job in Singapore. So those jobs that are not location based, they usually enjoy more when they live in a place like Nigeria, because the bills are much cheaper. I brought Brume on the other time. Let me see if this lady listed anything else. So she didn't list anything else. That's everything. So I brought Brume earlier, and we talked about healthcare. And Brume, he's recorded. You can see it on Facebook and YouTube and even on Instagram. He said the following. If you joined us live in the afternoon, you will see this. If you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen. I'm looking for my number one gifter. Let me make a big shout out to my number one gifter, Susan Edegbe is my number one gifter. I'm also looking for my money guns. So pop those money guns, guys. Pop those money guns if you're watching on TikTok. Now, Brume said this. He said, I complained about the long waiting queues for health insurance in Canada and in the UK, as well as the US. In Nigeria, I was watching a lady who was talking about her cancer experience in the US, and she needed a colonoscopy, and she could not get an approval for a colonoscopy for almost a whole year. In Nigeria, you want to get a colonoscopy tomorrow. You walk down to make sure you pay your money. The problem with things like colonoscopies is you need a 2 week prep period. You have to be on a certain diet. You have to do it for 2 weeks so that they can prep you for the colonoscopy. But if you go there today, the likelihood that once you pay, you will get an appointment within the next 2 weeks is as high as 80%. Unless they have a lot of people who want to do colonoscopies at the same time. So, what somebody is waiting for 1 year in the US or the UK or Canada for is what you walk into a lab, pay your money down, and get it immediately. So, a lot of people are saying, yeah, abroad, if you also can afford private treatment, you just walk in and get it. If you're earning $3,000 a month abroad, you can't afford private treatment, too. Let's tell ourselves the truth. $3,000 a month after tax, you cannot afford anything that smells like, looks like, or sounds like private healthcare. Okay, someone said colonoscopy prep is 24 hours. No, in Nigeria it's about a week. It's about a week. It depends on the location and what they want. Sometimes they do it as high as a week. So, Brume said that his sisters and brothers who live in the UK come to Nigeria to get their procedures done simply because of the cost of the procedure, one, and the long waiting list in the UK. He said it live. So everybody's saying 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks. So he said his brother and sister in the UK actually come to Nigeria to get procedures done. And I'll tell you my experience. I don't want to mention the name of the hospital, but there was a time one of my kids had something with her foot. So we went to this clinic in Victoria Island where they bring in their doctors every week. So there's a British doctor in Nigeria every week. So the specialist that was assigned to us used to come in every week from the UK. A doctor that worked in Lagos but lived in the UK and used to come in every week, literally every week. So when they give us appointments, sometimes they'll say, the doctor's not going to be around next week. And then when we go and see the doctor say, oh, wow, I just came in last night. So you could tell that the doctor lives abroad but comes to Nigeria. It is not cheap. It's going to cost you a lot of money, but you're going to get that. And that doctor was amazing. That child had that foot pain for about 3 years. We did not know what to do. And this doctor came, gave some antibiotics and did a treatment. Everybody in Nigeria was like, wow, you can't give antibiotics. I think I gave it. And 3 months later, the girl's foot was fine. And it has been fine, or more or less fine. A foot that's been worrying someone for about 3 years has been more or less fine after that instance. So when it comes to healthcare, there's a debate. Abroad, if you have an emergency, like Brume explained, if your chest is paining you, they will send an ambulance to your house and they start treating you immediately. But that you walk into somewhere and then you feel that something's wrong with you and it's not life-threatening, you're gonna join the queue. So he said, try to be as healthy as possible if you're abroad. If not, they will stress you. And the queues are long. I met a Romanian taxi driver. I was in Romania in 2018, and I met this Romanian taxi driver. He picked me up one day in Romania. We got into a conversation, and he said that One of the reasons why he relocated back to Romania from England was that the water in England is not clean, that he drank tap water once and got a stomach bug. And for 1 year, he was on the waiting list to see the doctor. And after a while, it just kept getting worse. So he finally just relocated back to Romania. And he said the tap water in Romania is far better than the tap water in the UK. So these things vary. And this is not me telling you, this is not me telling you, oh, this is how it is, it's an open-ended discussion. You can have whatever contribution you want to have. Someone says in the US there is no queue. I walked into an ED several times and I don't wait on a queue. I totally disagree with that, and I'm sure you're not earning $3,000 a month in the US. If you are earning $3,000 a month, you would probably not be on a healthcare plan that you can just walk into an ED. Remember, we are comparing onions with onions and oranges with oranges. We're not comparing we're not comparing onions with watermelons. So let's keep the comparison realistic. Personally, I believe that it is cheaper to live in Nigeria than it is to live abroad. One thing that she would have really made a good point with if she had included was school fees. Now, in Nigeria, school fees is more expensive than abroad. Because in Nigeria, your children cannot go to public school. Abroad, you can go to public school for free as far as secondary school level. By the time you get to university, then it gets a lot more complicated. Now, if you lived in a two-bedroom flat, for instance, the likelihood that you have grown-up kids is low. So if you have in a two-bedroom flat, I'll imagine me, my wife, and maybe two kids were abroad. If you have children below primary school age, it's very expensive to put them in daycare, and it's very expensive to get a nanny or a nurse for them. So at the same time, again, even though Nigeria looks very expensive, it starts getting cheaper in the UK when it comes to education the moment the children enter primary school. But pre-primary school is more expensive abroad. Some people pay as much as £400 a month to take care of their toddlers. So guys, I would really love it if you share your own experiences and your own opinions. This is not, like I said earlier on when we had this conversation, I am not teaching. I am discussing. When I'm teaching scripture, I say, okay, today I want to teach you scripture. This is not scripture. This is an opinion. I have an opinion. And I said this to Brume, and I'm sure a lot of people agree. If you are earning $5,000 a month, and your choice was to live in Nigeria and earn $5,000 a month in dollars in Nigeria, or to live in the US and earn $5,000 a month in the US, you choose Nigeria. Most people, 80% of people will choose Nigeria because at the end of the month, you'll be able to save more. In the US, if you're earning 5K a month, whether it's before tax or after tax, your savings are going to be very, very minimal. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Send me a request to join now. Double click the screen if you're watching on TikTok. If you're watching on Facebook, please remember to send my stars. If you're watching on Instagram, go to Facebook, search for Daddy Freeze, DADDYFREEZE. Bottom left hand corner, you'll see how to buy my stars. If you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen. I'm looking for my number one and my number two gifter. My number one gifter is Chris Obinok, and my number two gifter is Taiwo Adenuga. If you're watching on TikTok, I'm looking for my money guns. Pop those money guns. Pop those money guns. Double click the screen. Let's get more people to come and watch. Now, standard life for most people abroad is far better than Nigeria. Standard life. By standard life, I mean you have any job. In Nigeria, you only Nigeria enjoy Nigeria if you have a specific kind of job. Abroad, any job, you have safety, security, opportunities for your children. You'd live a decent life. In Nigeria, the average man does not live a decent life. They live a struggling, poor life. Abroad, the average man lives a decent life. However, in Nigeria, if you have a certain amount of money every month, you would live a quality life and have access to some things that on that salary scale you will not be able to have access to abroad. Like I said, we've got to be very careful in our comparison. Let us not compare onions with watermelons. Let us compare onions with onions, and as much as we possibly can, oranges with oranges. So, Razak Akoshile says he has an opinion. I'm going to try to keep you on for not too long so that the conversation can move. We had Brume the other time, and I would love to have a lady or a few ladies as well. So we're not going to keep you on for a long time. What we're trying to do is we're trying as much as possible to get different opinions in. So let's hear you. We have Lord Nas Mob. Can we see your face, please?
1 second.
Okay.
Good evening, brother Freeze.
Yes, good evening. So,
How
what
are
are
you?
your thoughts? Real quick, so we can allow others to also come and
Okay,
share their perspective.
okay. Although I understand Nigeria better, I live there. I live in Lagos Island before I travel here. Okay. Although Nigeria is good for some few things. When I was there, I went to high school, A level, Federal School of Art and Science, and University of Lagos. Okay. But when I got here, there are some exceptional things that I see happen in this country that that I don't see it happen anywhere in this world. Your kid can go to the best school here. I'm talking of the best elite high school. You understand? Without you paying down. If you are making less than $400,000 a year, you got me, brother? If you are making less than $400,000, I live in New York City. My first daughter went to Philip Andover. Google it. Philip Andover is in Massachusetts. It's a private high school. 12 people in the class. That is the school where all George Bush family went. All of them. Google it. She went there for free. She spent 1 year in Paris, school abroad. I don't pay dime. When she entered Columbia University, I pay $500 a month. Columbia University happened to be 70 something $1,000 as at that time. She finished when the tuition fee was $82,000 a year. I only pay $500 a month because I love education. Then I see that she got opportunity. I love it so much. That is what makes me love this country so much. And immediately she got off the school. Within 2 months, she got a job. She's still working up till now. My second daughter, again, gets scholarship to Taft in Connecticut. TAFT. That's the high school. 74,000 a year. Full scholarship. 14 people in the class. Google it. Taft, the Taft school. It's in
Now, let me
Watertown.
ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Sorry to
Okay.
interrupt you. Do you think
Okay.
every American child or every Nigerian parent in America has children brilliant enough to be on scholarships abroad?
No, no, no. But
Good.
not
So,
only
so
that. No.
once again, you are
Okay.
comparing. I'm sorry to say this, sir. You are
Okay.
comparing onions with
Abuan.
watermelons.
Yeah.
I have kids. I have one daughter that is exceptionally brilliant, and I have other children that are like their daddy me that are academically average. I am not going to get a scholarship to study anything in any part of the world. I can guarantee you that for free. And I have children who are like that. So let us talk more about the general public, those children who are more in the average bracket. How much?
Okay.
Hey, Tosin, where did you go? Just when
Okay.
I needed you to talk, Tosin, come back here. Oh. How can Tosin just go like that? Tosin, come back, come back, come back. We're about to ask you to talk.
Okay. Okay.
So
I'm a
so if
social
we
worker
cannot
also.
use Tosin, please let's allow her to talk because it
Okay.
seems like she's rushing
No,
somewhere.
I couldn't hear nobody. It was just mute.
Oh, can you hear us now?
Yes,
Okay,
so
we
we
could
can.
see you. Okay,
Okay.
okay. So what he was talking about was his two kids are in very expensive schools, but he doesn't have to pay much. One of them is on scholarship. The other one is he doesn't have to pay much, even though the tuition is about $80,000 a year. And what I'm trying to say is, not every Nigerian in America can get a scholarship.
That's true.
Yeah. Sure.
So once you start bringing in things like scholarship, you are limiting the pool to a 2-3% of the population.
Yes.
So let's talk more about the average Nigerian who is not Olodo but is also not exceptional. I have a family member whose daughter went to Harvard from Nigeria on scholarship. Harvard, full scholarship. But in her school, only she was able to get, I think the school was Lagoon Girls in Lekki here. She was the only girl that got the scholarship. One person in the whole school. So here's an analogy I gave earlier on in the afternoon. I know Tosin was watching then. Coke, a bottle of Coke in a Co Hotel is 1,500 naira.
Oh.
That does not mean that Coke in Nigeria is 1,500 naira. So we cannot use a one instance like Eco Hotel or Ericasa or Chocolate Royale or one of those highbrow restaurants or hotels to judge the price because you walk into Mama Put and buy that same Coke for 250. So what we're doing now is we are saying because we bought a bottle of Coke in a hotel for 1.5, we are pegging the price of Coke in the whole country at 1.5, which is what I'm trying to avoid us doing. So, Tosin, please, what is your experience?
My experience in America has been really bad. Really, really bad. And when you came online this morning, I said, I'm planning to relocate to Nigeria. Though I'm the only person living by myself in America, my other families live in England. But it has been really bad. The first year I came in here to this country, I went in for laparoscopic surgery. During the surgery in America, here in New York, the doctor perforated my bowel and he perforated my bowel by mistake and they had to like send me home. That same night, I went home, I started throwing up, I had fever. I went back to the hospital. The doctor said, no, it's only surgery. You can go back. They discharged me 2 a.m. The second day I went back to the hospital, same thing, they sent me back home. The third day, my stomach was swollen. People would think like I'm 6 months pregnant. And then I had to go to another hospital, and that was how they saved my life. And I'll just say, like, I don't want to say too much, but for me so far, America is not easy. For a single person, yeah. Mm-hmm. America is not easy.
Hmm.
Wow.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody said infection. No, that's not infection. That's medical
That was the,
negligence.
I was trying to get pregnant, so the doctor told me, my fertility doctor told me I had a one tube blocked. So I went in to open the tube, and during opening the tube, the doctor perforated my bowel, and I had sepsis. Yeah,
In
and I had,
America.
Wow.
and this is how
What
they
part
could
of
save my
America
life.
was this?
Ah,
Yeah, they had to openly
serious.
help us to save my life. Yeah, so there is mistake everywhere.
You should sue them. You should
Yeah,
sue
I
them.
did. I did. That's why when I moved to
Yeah,
Nigeria, I did.
Did you get how much money were
that's
you able to get from them as
It's
compensation?
done. It's done.
Oh, it's
I'm getting
on.
it soon. That's why when I moved to Nigeria.
Okay, so once you get
that's
the money,
that's
just
that's
come
good.
back. We are waiting for you.
Sue them
You know I'm
seriously.
your
That's
pastor, so when you come back to
I'm
Nigeria,
telling
I'll
you.
have.
Yeah, it's like it's not easy. Yeah, so
Even
someone
being an
just said,
assistant
"Find
to them.
yourself a man." I was married before. I even came to Nigeria to get married to a man. I filed a green card for him. During the process, I got to know that he just want to come to America, and I had to stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm a
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Every
very
day we learn something new. Thank God I brought you on. Thank God I
Mm.
yeah.
brought you on. So David Jones is saying
So
you won't stay in Nigeria. Trust me, madam. If you
I will
get
stay in Nigeria. I visit Nigeria
If you get a
often.
$1 million compensation, you will love
Mm.
Nigeria. You come into this Nigeria
Mm.
with $1 million, you will love Nigeria. It is
Yeah.
when you are earning minimum wage that you cannot like Nigeria.
Exactly.
But when you enter Nigeria with $1 million or half a million
Mm.
dollars, you will understand that Nigeria can be
Mm-hmm.
nice too.
So
So
what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is that people think that American doctors are perfect, they are this, they are that. No, they are not. And the doctor is even a Jewish
oh
doctor.
wow,
So America is not perfect. Everything is not perfect here. Even in Nigeria to America, Nigeria too is not perfect. So there is always a mistake in life. So that is it.
wow,
Mm-hmm.
wow, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Razak, and the
So,
I want to hear the other gentleman talk. Tosin, you
okay.
wait, cause there are some questions I want
Mm-hmm.
to ask you, Mr. Razak. Thank you so much. I want to balance it out and
You
have
have
two
it.
ladies and
Yeah.
two guys.
Two guys. Okay.
Okay, so somebody is saying official Don Fiesta saying Daddy Freeze bring me on. Okay, let's hear the gentleman. I want to bring another lady. So we have two guys, two ladies. So if you're a lady and you're interested, send me a request. So go ahead, sir.
Okay. So basically, I've been watching, and then I saw a lot of comments. I just want to make it straight first. Nigeria is way more cheaper than anywhere in abroad, to be honest. Because let's go to the basics, like the little things you do here in the day-to-day base. Cutting your hair in London, to cut your hair is £20. The
Hmm.
most expensive salon in Lekki is one K, which is £1. So you find out that you're saving a lot of money when you go to Nigeria. Like I recently went to Nigeria for my for a funeral, family member. So basically, as I'm spending, I was like, I'm spending £2 instead of £20 or instead of £15. So you see that it's way more cheaper there than London. So anybody that is there saying that it's cheaper here, is lying. Everything here is expensive. Somebody was saying that you don't pay for electricity. I don't know where that person lives, but everything here you pay for. You pay your water bill, you pay your electricity, you pay for internet. The only thing is that it's way up standard here than in Nigeria. Talking about the medical field, like it's really poor here. Just like what you was talking about the queue just now. I mean, you have very serious you'll be in a very serious condition. You have to go and sit down for 3 hours, 4 hours. At the end of the day, they give you paracetamol. You understand? While in Nigeria, if you have the money, you go and see a private doctor immediately, and you're sorted. So the comparison, if we take it from the basic, everybody will understand it. But I don't want people like just what this man just said, just now that left. The comparison was not balanced. But if we come down to the basic, layman, it's way more expensive here than Nigeria. To be honest, we're spending a lot of money in London. I mean, house rent alone, the basic 1 bedroom you can get for 1,500. That's a lot of money. That's the whole year of rent in Nigeria. So think about it. You pay that money for 12 months. It's expensive here, you know. So I just want to put that at the mindset of Nigerians that it's quite expensive here in any aspect: food, living, housing, everything.
Thank you very much, brother. I like the angle you came from, because you also were careful not to fall into the temptation of comparing onions with watermelons, and then you say, "Ah, one is better."
Exactly.
If you want to cook soup, onion is better than watermelon. But if you want to eat a fruit, you can eat a whole watermelon.
Yeah.
I doubt if there's anybody here that can eat one small orange. Sorry, one small onion. You can eat pieces of onion with suya, but that you sit down and eat one. Meanwhile, if they give you one whole watermelon, you go chop and you go finish.
Abby.
So comparing onions with watermelons is delicate, and you will get false results. So
Yeah.
I'm coming back to Tosin. Tosin, that's the lady, the beautiful lady we have here, um, who shared her experience. I want to ask you this: what really makes you tired of America?
That's the life.
Oh, good doctor.
Can you hear me, Tosin?
I think she's having network connection
Yes.
problems.
And we can see her so clearly.
Yeah.
So, okay. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, Don Fiesta, while we're waiting for Tosin to while we're waiting for her internet to be fixed, let me invite Don Fiesta. Don Fiesta wanted to come, so let me use this as an opportunity to invite the Don.
Daddy Freeze, good evening.
Good evening, Don Fiesta. How are you doing?
I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Thank you for bringing me on. I saw the prelude this afternoon when you were talking about it. I was really itching to participate. Once I saw that you were on, I decided to talk. Everybody has spoken well. This is first of all, let me give you a little bit of my background. And, I lived in Nigeria. I grew up in Nigeria, but I lived in the UK for 15 years. And I've been living in America now for about 7 to 8 years. So, and I've had the privilege of living in Nigeria in between those periods. After I moved from the UK, I lived in Nigeria for like 2 years before I moved to the UK. I have a balanced perspective about this topic. So let me start this way. You see, if you have never experienced living abroad, your system is connected with Nigeria. You can only imagine what goes on abroad. Even when you visit, you're just visiting. So your body, soul, and spirit are connected with Nigeria. You can only make life better and more comfortable for yourself because of that immediate environment that you have, which is the mindset. Yeah. Exactly. But the moment you step out of Nigeria and move abroad, your body changes, your system changes. You adapt to the abroad standard of everything, the electricity, all the amenities. Those are what you are paying for. Once you get back to Nigeria, some people go back to Nigeria even with all the money because they want to meet that same standard. Their money finishes, they run back here. So there is actually little or no basis for comparison because the government of America, for example, where I live, is very, very responsive. There is risk everywhere. There is, imperfection everywhere. But if anything happens to you, the law is behind you. You can fight. The you can get justice, even though there's injustice here too. But at least people can fight with you, they can fight for you, right? And you don't need to be rich, you don't need to be famous, you don't need to know anybody to achieve anything you want. You don't need to. But for you to meet that same standard of living in Nigeria, you either have to be a millionaire, or you know somebody, or you can provide something extra to make that same level of comfort, which you will get free of charge here. So, and then talking about another factor I want us to understand is that even if we say $1 is equal to 1,000 naira, for example, what $1 will buy for you, what you will get with $1 here, you can walk into a dollar store and buy one important thing that you need. That 1,000 naira, the equivalent will not get for you in Nigeria. Because some of these goods are already imported, they're already exported to Nigeria, and they've been converted, they've added the shipping costs and everything. So even with your dollar, you cannot get what you will get with the dollar here. You cannot get it for 1,000 naira in Nigeria because of inflation and exchange rates. Because we consume majorly imported goods. And one thing I also observed when I went to Nigeria the last time, one thing, I don't know if anybody else has observed it. I stayed in Lekki at an apartment in Lekki. I observed that everywhere I went in Lekki, everything that I bought, the moment I convert it to dollars, they are really, really expensive. But the moment I convert it to dollar, it's exactly how much we buy it here in dollars. Exactly. If you go to the club and buy a bottle and they tell you it's $500, 500,000 naira, it might seem high to you. But by the time you convert it to dollars, that's exactly how much you buy a bottle in the club here. So that tells you that there are dollars chasing the value of the naira to meet that standard. And you'll find that standard only in Lekki area, on the island, Victoria Island and Co. If you go to Ikotun, Ikeja, it's a different ball game altogether. That's why I agree with that. The phrase when it was saying that it depends, you cannot compare, it depends on where you're buying and where you're living and your current situation. That will determine for any basis for comparison. If you leave this America with $2,000 only and go and rent one studio apartment in Egbeda, you are a king there. But your 1 million naira will finish in 2 weeks in Lekki. So everything is just a matter of your circumstances, the kind of comfort you want. I have friends doing IT here. I don't know if I'm going to say it online. I have friends that are doing IT here. They use American IP. These boys are living big time in Lekki right now. And they earn money here. They pay into their US account here. And they are living in Nigeria.
I gave that example too. Same thing with content creators. YouTubers, Facebookers, TikTokers. The other day I was on TikTok and I got gifts of about $500 in that day. That week I was number 80. So if number 80 got $500 that week, let's imagine what number 1 got. Calculating, it was looking like $3,000 a week. And if you go to YouTube and go and check the rankings, because YouTube has weekly, I say YouTube, TikTok has weekly rankings. Number 1 this week has, and is always among these 3 people, has 666,000 coins. 666,000 coins in YouTube is about $5,000. That's what somebody has made this week on TikTok. Not this month, this week on TikTok. The number 3 person has about half of that. So number 3 on TikTok, and this is Nigerian, this is African ranking. So number 3 has earned about $3,000 this week. So someone like this that is earning, let's say it's not every week that they rank at 1 to 3. Let's say at the end of the month, they are able to pull in like $6,000. Maybe $3,000 one week, $1,000 the next week, $2,000 the next week. At the end of the day, shall we count it? We have $3,000, $6,000 a month. With that $6,000 a month, the kind of life you will live in Nigeria, I don't know how to explain it. And this is not a one off. There are people who sit down on TikTok 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. This thing that I will do, hey, buy my double click my screen, double click my screen. There are some people that do it 4 hours a day, back to back, back to back. Take a break for 1 hour, come back to TikTok, continue, continue, continue. And they're making that money. For instance, I am so far back this week that I need 47,000 coins to be able to make top 99. So imagine what number 10 is making, number 20 this week is earning on TikTok. And you can see that they will tell you what they've earned. I can tell number one salary, no, I can tell everybody on the top 100 what their salary is for this week.
Wow.
So imagine something like that. We've got Bongoli with us. Bongoli, how are you doing? A very, very pleasant morning to you. Go ahead and share your opinion.
Good evening, good evening, madam. Good evening, my Oga. And good evening to everybody. It's been a while I've been on the live. It's been a while.
And we've missed you.
I miss everybody. Yeah. Daddy Freeze, with all that you have said, let us ensure that we are paying our taxes in Nigeria. I'm not saying paying taxes on TikTok. I mean paying the payee. Pay as you earn. Pay whatever taxes you are supposed to pay. Nigeria needs your taxes. All of us, all of you, all of us, because I don't make my social media is not monetized. So for everyone that is making money on social media, taxman is our president. Taxman is coming to collect his taxes. I'm at tax. So that's just a comic relief. But back to the matter. You see, I want us to look at these things from an economic standpoint. Because I've been here, when Adifis did the program this morning, I got a little glimpse of it. And then this evening he's doing it again. I'm like, oh, wow, let me come and say my own little thing here. Per statistics, actually, Nigeria is less expensive than the United States. Because what started this issue was the lady that put on Twitter that said Nigeria is more expensive. And I put a comment on that website that I commented on it. And I got quite a certain number of likes. As usual, people will insult me, which is normal. So long it doesn't affect my ego, I'm not mad at you so long you don't affect my ego. So what I said basically was, when people make this kind of outlandish statements, what data are you looking at? So now, there are four things you need to look at economically. Firstly, you look at cost of living. Danny Freeze was talking about it. Cost of living. Cost of living, for example, you have to look at your healthcare. How much is the healthcare? How much are you paying for healthcare services in Nigeria compared to the rest of the world? How much are you paying for education? How much are you paying compared to the rest of the world? How much are you paying for entertainment compared to the rest of the world? How much are you paying for rent compared to the rest of the world? How much are you paying for whatever extra stuff that you are doing compared to the rest of the world? Now, the second one that will now go to, that is cost of living index. The next one will now go to is what they call purchasing power parity. So I'll give you an example. You know, right now, in the black market, they say dollar is 920, 930. Now, those ones are currency speculators. Will come for them. When dollar was 450, according to CBN, they were speculating, they were selling at 750. Now that they said, you know what, we are going to float it. So let us see the true value. They've taken it to 920 or 930 or wherever it is. When the actual dollar on the ironing window is about, what's it called? 760, 770 today. Now, I will tell people that according to there's something called purchasing power parity. Now, purchasing power parity, it tells us that the naira is seriously undervalued. Today, the naira is supposed to be selling for between 650 to 700. I mean, in the I and in window. That is the true value of the naira. Now, little economics 101. Little economics 101. There's what is called the Big Mac Index. You guys can Google what I'm saying. It's called the Big Mac Index. The Big Mac Index is used to compare the purchasing power parity around the world. Now, for example, Big Mac in the US, it goes for $5.20 or something like that. Now, if you go and buy that same Big Mac in Switzerland, and then you convert how much you buy it into the dollar, it's higher. With the Swiss, with the Swiss franc, I think it's franc that they use there, or something like that in Swiss franc. I think it's about $7 or something like that if you convert it. That tells me that currency is overvalued. That is not the true value. Now let's look at China. China, for example. Now you see that the Chinese yuan, that is not the true value. The Chinese yuan is actually stronger than that 7 yuan, 7.3 or 7.4 yuan to the dollar. That's not the true value of the yuan. The yuan should be doing 5 or 6, but they have reason why they manipulate their currency. People need to understand that. I'll give a classic example that people understand here. The price of yam or the price of agege bread. I live in the Houston area. Our agege bread is being sold at the Southwest Farmers Market for $2.45 right now. That particular agege bread, how much are they selling it in Nigeria? That is purchasing power parity. Now, let us now look at purchasing power index. That is the problem. That's one of the major problems we have in Nigeria. We have a low purchasing power. Now, how do you calculate purchasing power? You look at what is called the Consumer Price Index. It's what we use to calculate inflation. Nigeria is always doing double-digit inflation. So over 20% year on year in the last 6, 7, 8 years. So that tells us that in the space of 4 years, what you bought as 100 naira will become 200 naira. However, salaries are not increasing. Meaning that how much you can purchase has reduced. And that's how you calculate your purchasing power. Now, all of this economic whatever, people be like, this guy, what are you saying? Why are you saying all of these things and all of that stuff? I don't understand. It goes straight to the point. This is how the economics is done, guys. I know a lot of people are saying always off point. You don't understand what I'm saying. Because when we look at social media platforms and all of that, when they come on TV to come and speak, like today, the CBN acting governor came to speak, most people say they don't understand what he's saying. These things I'm talking about is economics 101. I'm not trying to look down on people. I'm not trying to talk down on people because they've told us not to talk down on people. They say we should not talk down on people. So I'm not talking down on you. But I'm saying whatever I'm saying, it's a learning experience for some people. I am also still learning. I learn every day when it comes to economics. However, these are the matrices that we look at. Because, for example, now, people are touting minimum wage. Now, let's give an analysis of minimum wage. Do you know in the United States, federal, listen, I know why I'm saying this, federal, I did not say state, because some people will say that minimum wage in California is $13 or $14 or $20. I said federal. In the United States since 2009, the federal minimum wage has been $7.25. They've not changed it. $7.25 to 2009. I live in Texas. and minimum wage is still $7.25. So what you can buy in 2009 with $10, I think now it will cost $20 or $30 now, but salary hasn't changed. Now, let us do a math, for example. That minimum wage that they compare Nigeria's minimum wage to America's minimum wage. America's minimum wage is $7.25. You work 40 hours in America, average, that's what they say, 40-hour work week. So multiply $7.25 by 40 hours. 428, that's 290. 290. $7.25 times 40 is 290. Now 290 times 4 is what? 580 plus 580. That is 1160. $1,160. Now tell me in the America that you live in, you earn $1,160. You're going to pay taxes. Let's say you take off about 20% out of that. Now tell me where you can rent in America. You want to live a decent life in America, decent, that you not pay over $1,000 to $1,500 for a room. You have not paid your car notes. You have not paid for your insurances. You see, but Daddy Freeze, you see, I said federal minimum wage. Some people here are still typing it's $15 or ga. You see what I'm saying? They don't listen. But I will not talk down on you people, please. So now I said federal. If former one, let me even call it former out. If former 1919, I said federal minimum wage. Federal. FEDERAL. So what I'm saying here is the federal minimum wage in itself. Look at how much you are going to pay and look at how much you have left. Tell me a decent apartment you can rent with that. Tell me a decent car you can
Make
buy
I hail
with that.
my top gifter on TikTok. I don't forget saying now work I find on here. Anthony Nkem Okpara, my best friend these days. I had to go to his page on Instagram and go and shout out to him. The guy they buy my money gone steady and they buy Okada for me. Right now, if you see the amount of Okada I get for road, hey, he plenty. Big shout out to you, Anthony Nkem. Guys, follow him. He's my number one gifter, Anthony Nkem Okpara. Wow, he sent a motorcycle already. Hey, and I just begin to talk. Oh, motorcycle don't land. Vroom, 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 vroom. Hey. Oh yeah, guys, that's my number one gifter right there. Give a shout out to him. Everybody, please give a shout out to Anthony Kim. Please, Bongoli, shout out to this guy. He's always representing.
I give him. I shout out to him. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to him. God bless you. Keep the flag flying, because if not for you, there will be no Daddy Freeze.
There will be no.
And if there's no Daddy
I
Freeze,
need to get to a point where now I have two people that contribute. I have 3 or 4 types of people that contribute to making Daddy Freeze. The Bongolese that share their intellect, the Anthony Nkem Okparas that share the support. Tosin Odu also shares support. The Ebieres, Ada Blessings, and the who else? Rita Gambia and Remy, who come and read Bible for me and share their beautiful presence and the ability to read, and they really help with that. And then the audience, the well-behaved audience, who will join no matter what time it is, as long as they see that the face, you see them, they will gather. Without you people, Daddy Freeze does not exist. Daddy Freeze exists because let me tell you something. If I gather every day like this and I no see food chop, one day I go live and I go hustle. Bills day for this Niger too. So I appreciate all of you. There are some people who what they come to do is give a perspective and intellect. You are very valuable. People like Brume, people like Bongoli, even people like John. My only problem with John is John go come and he go cost all my followers. So that's why I know they bring John again. But I value his content because people come and they want to listen to him. People come, they want to listen to Bongoli. Once Bongoli come, even if not cost, they won't cost, they'll say bring Bongoli, bring Bongoli, bring Bongoli. Because they know that he's going to say something that is going to add value, whether will make you happy or aggravate you is going to add value. So I need to appreciate all of you. But today I'm appreciating most especially, most honorable Anthony Nkem Okpara. And like I always say, Igbo people are my biggest customers. That's why I know they offend Igbo people. They are my biggest. 60% of my customer base now Igbo. And another people I don't like offending is abroad. 70% of my customer base is abroad. People like Tosin, people like Bongoli, people like Anthony Nkem, they are all abroad and they are my customer base. So I have a lot of love and respect for you all. Anthony, once again, thank you for the Okada and thank you for the money gone. Somebody say, Mr. Anthony, don't come. Oh. Baba Anthony, you are very welcome. So, Tosin, what do you want to say? I want everybody to just spend 2 minutes as we begin to round off. So, Tosin, what are your thoughts on what Bongoli has said, for instance?
For now, I don't really have nothing to say because I don't want to be attacked in the comments.
No,
I'm
ignore the
very
comments.
sensitive.
Nobody can attack you. I will lock the
I'm
comments.
very sensitive. Look at the
Now,
phrase. I just don't
you
want
guys are
to.
unfair. This young lady is sharing her perspective and you are insulting her. That is not right. That is not right. That is unfair. You can insult Bongoli. Bongoli will come with facts and he's strong enough. And at the end of the day, we still come back tomorrow and tell you, ooh, I warned you. That's one thing with Bongoli. So it doesn't pain Bongoli. Me, hey, if you insult me, you know what you will get. You will not sleep for 2 weeks. But you see, this beautiful young lady has been through a lot. She's also going through her own issues. Allow her to breathe. Let Tosin breathe. So Tosin, you are free to make any comment.
Let the poor people breathe.
Anybody that insults you will be banned from my life permanently. Let me explain that to you. If you like beg with money, I will not accept you. The best I can do for you is allow you to open a new account and come and be watching with your new account. But this your account don't go. Otilo. So Tosin, please share your perspective and feel free. Young Six is here. Am I correct? Young Six is here. All right, Tosin, go ahead. Let me hear you.
Yeah, what do you want me to say? Nothing else. I just share my story and I don't have nothing to say. What Bongoli said is
Okay, let me
actually
ask you a
true.
question. When you brought your husband to the US, what happened?
I didn't bring him.
Oh, but you wanted to.
I filed a green card for him. They approved it. And I was about to submit my affidavit of support. And I noticed that I just want to come abroad. So I stopped everything.
Okay.
And that was
My lovely brother, Don Fiesta. Do you have anything else
All
to
right.
say, or should I bring Young Six?
Yeah, let me just say something I can excuse.
Okay.
What I just want to say is to talk to our people abroad, in Nigeria, that the world is a global village right now. Everything is digitalized. And unfortunately, the economy is really bad back home. We are not providing anything we're buying in hard currencies. We are not selling anything to the world. So that is why the naira is really going down and the dollar is going up and other currencies are stronger. So the only way we can help ourselves is to explore all digital opportunities because you can get a job. We have Fiverr, we have different platforms. I see a lot of Nigerian writers because I'm a writer myself. So a lot of Nigerian writers on Fiverr, on different platforms where you can earn in dollars without even leaving the comfort of your home. I want to encourage everyone to explore that way, but that's the direction the world is going to right now because it doesn't seem like the Naira is going to go stronger anytime soon. I hope it does, though. So everybody should just explore the digital option. A lot of people are getting jobs here and they are moving to Nigeria and they are working and they are earning in dollars and living quality lives. Even without coming abroad, you can get on your computer, search for jobs, go to LinkedIn, go to different platforms, connect your accounts, create content, start a business online, find out services that you can offer. And that way you can make your income even without burdening anybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much, official Don Fiesta. Fantastic idea. Guys, plug into the opportunities. Like he said, Twitter is now monetized. Even me, I dey go look for waiting I go do for that Twitter. Make the Twitter take wake up. Thank you, brother. God bless you.
Thank you, Ogili. Happy to see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, sir.
Mhm. So let me bring Young Six. BOSF wants to come. Hey, Omo, this is going to be a tough debate, too. Tosin, I think I'm going to have to call you once we are done. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
sure.
And
You're
you and
welcome,
I will
dear.
talk. Even if I don't talk to
All
you
right.
tonight, I will definitely talk to you
Hold this phone first.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
So we've got
Bye.
Bio here, my
Hold the
former
call.
enemy turned friend. How are you doing, Sir Bio? And let me bring Young Six. Young Six.
Baba is ruling.
Hello, my friend Daddy Freeze. How you doing, man?
How are you doing? How was
How
the
are you
UK?
doing?
Are you
How was
back
the
from the
UK? Are you
UK?
back from the UK? Yes, I'm
Uh-huh.
back. You know, so I was on the call well, a moment ago.
Okay, so
Let me
wow, this
just
is a
okay, so
lovely
wow, this
live.
is a lovely
Bio
line.
Young
You,
Six
Young
Bongoli.
Six Bongoli.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So let's hear
So
this
let's
perspective.
hear this perspective. All right. So let me just say something concerning, you know, we are Nigerians. Nigeria is our country. It's our first home, and definitely we want everything to work for us over there, and we have all tried different things. That the freeze, am I talking for pigeon? There's a difference between somebody where they calculate and somebody where they don't do something in reality. I've spent over 20 years abroad. I have relocated to Nigeria from abroad as an accomplished person. I'll just give you a brief about me today. I have relocated to Nigeria, have lived in Nigeria for 2 years with the mind that I will never come back abroad. Do you hear me, my brother? So anything I tell you, I'm telling you from a practical view. I don't believe in talking too much, writing theory that doesn't work. That is one. Then two, for that, somebody said, Bill, check your audio. How people can hear me anyway?
We can hear you, but you are a bit low. But we can hear you.
Okay, I don't know. Because I had a call earlier on. I don't know if that call is. So now, going to what I'm saying, let me just continue because I think some persons say they can hear me. Anyway, so if everybody can hear me, that's fine. Because I just want to say something and just get out so that every other person can talk. This is it's not a debate. I'm not here to debate, neither am I here to argue. But I want to tell my fellow people, especially those in America, something. That lady that just left here and my good brother Bongoli. Let me tell you, we are Nigerians. In this America, even the Nigerian that come in here today without document will not do a job of $15 per hour. That is the bitter reality of this country. So why am I trying to say this? Even the Nigerian that come in here today without document will not even do a work of $15 per hour. So let us not think like Mexicans in the first place. So with that being said, I like to put myself at the level of everybody. But please Google my name. I work for a Fortune 50 Big 5 company. I'm an IT security manager. Okay? And with that being said, I can't judge everybody with my own personal income. But in reality, if you look at Nigeria economy today, I have a property in Nigeria that is a 3-bedroom flat, all ensuite. That the freeze inbox me tomorrow morning. I will call somebody, the gate man there, to put you on a live video. The total yearly income for that 4 apartments, each one is a 3-bedroom, all ensuite, cannot pay a 1-month mortgage in the United States.
Where is that
You know what I'm
property?
telling you? Yes.
What
I
part
can
of
run the
Nigeria
math
is
for
that
you.
property?
Let me run it for you. This particular building I'm talking about now, anyway, is within the Edo Delta and in a good area around there. Because the yearly rent around there for even a very good home
Hold
is
on for
about
1 second.
500 to
Hold on for 1
600,000.
second. Young Six, can you mute?
Okay, let me hold on. I hear you say hold on for 1
Yes,
second.
Young Six, can you mute? Young Six.
Daddy Freeze, we can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Sorry,
thank you, my brother. We can't hear Daddy
sorry.
Freeze.
Young Six. I wanted to say Young Six. Can you mute?
Okay.
Just mute. So because the way you are getting ready, I don't want you to leave. Just mute so that we can hear BO very well.
Okay, bro. Yeah, so bro, the reason I'm saying this is whether you like it or not. I'm just talking of that property actually as one property, for example, that cannot pay mortgage for 1 month. Each flat in that particular property is 500 per flat, which gives 2 million in a year, and 2 million cannot give you 2,000 plus dollar for a 2-bedroom in the Ibran area where I live here. Do you understand me, my brother? So that is just on the one aspect of it. I have somebody that owns one of the best hotel in one state in that country. If you see this property, my brother, when I come to Nigeria, I want to meet you personally. Maybe I will host you there. It's my blood person that owns that property. I was with him recently in Manchester. When he converted the money that hotel make, if you convert it to pounds, it be like rubbish. The reason I'm trying to say this that you freeze is this. You know, when we come here and we talk, we know what we are saying. Nobody loves Nigeria more than people of my time. Trust me. That my brother's wife told me in Manchester. He said, I remember the year when you used to come to Nigeria almost 4 times a year. She would say, what are you always doing here? So what am I trying to tell you here? Let us face the reality. Let us not beat around the bush, my brother. Do you understand me? Like I said, we can't come here, brag, or talk about people's income or something like that. For instance, even those, I'm in tech, and even in this America, when I hear some people talk about tech, I smile and I laugh. I didn't come here to learn tech. In case you don't know that, you freeze. I am a certified, I'm a certified security expert. Are you hearing me? Cybersecurity expert. And I have my degree in IT from a first world university and my master's as well. So what am I trying to tell you? When I see Nigerians, they come online sometimes, they talk bri. I'll just be looking and say, is it the same country where I did? It's like what happened to you sometimes in Lagos. Some people will be saying something about Nigeria. You'll be wondering, now this Lagos where me did, or now this one when I did. The reason I'm saying this is that, listen, there is nowhere there's no poverty. Even in America, there's poverty. Just so you know, nobody is disputing that. But if you choose to come to this America and choose to live with the poverty mindset that you came with, you will still continue to get the worst of the America. It's the truth. Because even when somebody was saying some hospitals here are not good, this and that, I'm not doubting it. I'm not saying it won't happen. I have doctor friends that have come into this country. They will tell you, even New York is one of the area they are more likely to get their posting or job to practice their medicine compared to any other state. That already tell you something. Then two, if you choose, somebody will come to this your life, they don't want to pay for internet. And when they go to hospital, do you think they'll go to good hospital? They will never go to good hospital. It's not the truth. You know, there are some people in this America that are still using Leica, $20 a month for phone bill, Leica. And they will still come online. Network will be streaming slow. They'll be saying, American network not good. The American network is good. Leica is a Chinese Indian company that are hacking to data to be selling somehow. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So the point I'm going at is that whether you live in America, you live in, see you now, you in Nigeria, but your network not is slow because you are making the best out of your environment. So I'm tired of these people. When they come online, people will start talking about things like, this is not working in Lagos, this is not working in America. The entire world has its up and down. So it is what you choose. That is how you are going to live your life. It's not about, so that's all I wanted to say. So let us stop too much of all this. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Thank you,
my brother.
Thank you, my brother Bio. Definitely when you come to Nigeria, we are going to hook up. We started our relationship as enemies, but I'm glad we're friends and we can all reason things properly. Bongoli, I know you are itching to talk, but wait, let Young Six say something. Young
All
Six,
right, do I feel it?
because somebody is listening to me, maybe with two devices. So, Young Six talk, I'll remove myself. Young Six, oh yeah, over to you, fine boy.
Hey, yo, what's up, boss? How you doing?
I'm good.
I enjoy your live conversations, very insightful and very educational too. I feel like you're one of the woke people that we have in Nigeria. So I have to give you your credits. People, they're very difficult to give credit where it's due. So I have to give you your flowers.
Thank you.
Yeah. I've been listening to everybody since, and I feel like everybody has made factual and insightful contributions, based on their own reality. But I feel like a lot of the core of what the conversation should be has been lost in translation, right? So, like like the guy earlier that spoke before me, he said something. He said it's about the individual. So life is per head, meaning nothing is absolute. You know what I mean? Like your reality could be different from the next man's reality. Opportunities might be different from the next man's opportunities. But that's when we're speaking about economies like Nigeria. Now, this same guy that was speaking on the side, DJ, you were talking about minimum wage and all that stuff. Yeah, minimum wage is minimum wage. In Africa, minimum wage is not minimum wage. Even you might need to even know somebody to have access to minimum wage, right? And also, in terms of talking about economies, I feel like there are economical structures that were built in this system for you to thrive. Now, the mentality a lot of Africans come to the US with doesn't allow them to adapt into that system because first of all, when we come with like debt, like even me when I first came to the US, I was buying all my cars cash. I still have that attitude of trying to adapt in me. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and act like I'm exempted, right? So in terms of like things like that, one of the ways and pathways to build wealth, generational wealth, is through debt. So you're not going to come here and everything is just going to be available for you. Now I'm speaking from an entrepreneurial point of view. In terms of like working class and all that, when you're talking about minimum wage, you're talking about the people that almost at least qualified for the best possible opportunities in a region or section. So now we're not talking about the six-figure people. We're not talking about the seven-figure people. We're not talking about people making $100,000 a month. We're talking about people in the worst case scenario with the most basic knowledge, basic degree, finding somewhere to put your foot or to live your life. You know what I mean? Now with what the guy was saying earlier, there was somebody that was speaking. Oh, I think it was you talking earlier and talking about making $1,000 a month. Now you're not going to be making $1,000 a month and be trying to live in an apartment that costs $1,000 a month as well. I feel like basically that doesn't make sense. If you're trying to build a life for yourself, you have to build a sustainable life. You know what I mean? And if you're living, if you're making that amount of money, the whole idea of life itself and economics is to level up, is to scale up. Economics was built to stabilize and spread wealth across a community. That's the whole idea behind economics, to make systems work. So now with that being said, I feel like it's per head. You can say this person is doing this and is doing well for himself, and then somebody that has that same equal opportunity and might not be doing well for himself. Now, the issue about speaking about abroad and comparing it to Nigeria is everywhere in this world is going to have problems. And one of the reasons for the problems is one of the things I just said. Then another one is going to be because when it comes to nations and countries, even in America, they don't tend to appoint the best leaders. They tend to appoint the best politically fit agenda that they resonate with. So now if you're a Labour Party, you resonate with the ideologies of of Peter Obi. If you are the other party, you resonate with the whatever of the other party. Now, these guys might not necessarily be bad leaders, but guess what? Life has kicked in, trauma has kicked in, tribalism has kicked in, even party differences have kicked in. So when these people get in those positions, mind you, the job of the president or the leader is not necessarily to do all the work and make the country great. No, his primary job is to put the right people in the right places to get those things done. Now, what happens when they get into those places is because, let's say, for example, Tinubu was a very good president, right? Maybe the best person to take care of our economic issues might be Peter Obi, but Tinubu will not trust Peter Obi enough to give him an appointment in the economic sector in Nigeria. Why? Party differences. Now, Tinubu has a limited amount of talents that are willing to be political, that are willing to support his cause, that he can trust to deliver what his mandate is as a president. So these are things that affect all countries, all nations. You can say the same for America. Some people prefer Biden because things were flourishing business-wide. Trump because things were flourishing business-wide while he was the president. Some people like Biden because the laws favor the average American. You know what I mean? So people have their own different ideologies, that make things go different ways. You get what I mean? Now, with that being said, that shows you that no place, no country in this world goes without bad government. You go to Nigeria, you tell people, man, you hear people say the government is messed up. You go to America, you still hear people say the government is messed up. Every year they're trying to remove the present president of every nation I know of in the world. There's no nation that you will step into and you will say we have the best president and we want our president to stay alive. There's one party trying to remove that guy. You get what I mean? So now, with that being said, I go back to saying it's about per head, and what I believe is that the structures here were built for people to be able to thrive. You telling somebody that, you know what, I know you're receiving $2,000 a month and your rent is $1,000 a month. The other $1,000 is going to be difficult for you to save up and buy a car. You know what? Save 20% of that money and come and get a car. You pay interest on that. It's the economy was built to assist you, as opposed to Nigeria, where the economy is built to assist the privileged people. You know what I mean? So it's different. Yeah, 1 + 1 is 2. In Nigeria, 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 plus bribe might not even get you to 2. So there's a difference in how the structure was built to support the people and the economical system. That's my own ideology about it. Like I said, I don't think anything is absolute. I don't think what you have said is wrong. I don't think what the gentleman said earlier is wrong as well.
Oh my man, Young Six, you did brilliant too. I just had to put that, man.
Daddy,
thank you.
I'm impressed. Bongo
let me add something.
You have 2 minutes to add so that we can round off. I'm exhausted.
Yes,
oh yeah.
I know. I want to add something to what Young Sis is saying. Young Sis, very beautiful submission. And this is the first time I'm conversing with you one-on-one. So it's an honor. Top musician, Naija, we hear your song, everything.
Yes.
What we're talking about, what we're explaining in economic terms is what is called wealth inequality and income inequality. So today, as we speak, in South Africa has the highest income inequality. So that means the gap between the poor and the rich is very wide. Nigeria is not as bad when it comes to inequality. Because, yes, compared to South Africa. Because in inequality, there are a lot of things that he said here, but in economic terms, I'll just break it down. You look at minimum wage, you look at benefits, and then you look at taxes. Because he broke it, he said if you are earning $2,000, the rent you are going to pay is 1,000. I know you can't survive on that 1,000, the extra 1,000. You know what? Come and pay 300 and come and collect this 2023 Toyota Camry. But you will pay interest on it. And he said something, you live on debt. You make wealth on debt. However, that structure is not favorable in the Nigeria that we have today. Unfortunately. Because Nigeria doesn't even have the liquid cash. In fact, because of the current presidents that we have, he has made CBN to release the last 7 annual reports. Last 7, which we found out that Emefiele went to borrow 13 billion US dollars from Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley in America here. So why am I saying all of this? Yes, why am I saying all of this? I'm saying all of this because Nigeria as a country, because we don't have that buffer, that money, there are a lot of things that we cannot do. Now, lastly, in my submission here, I would say that Nigeria is not as expensive as living abroad. Now, I talked about minimum wage. I know you said you may not look at minimum wage and all of that stuff, but then minimum wage is a way that we can compare because all countries have minimum wage. You know, all countries have minimum wage, so you can use that to compare. And one of the people that came on live talked about, lastly, he said $7.25. They are not collecting $7.25. Do you know that waiters earn $2.35 per hour in America, federal minimum wage? That's how much they earn per hour. So
I don't want to drag us back, but Bio said there is federal minimum wage and there's the reality. He said something. He said even people that come on fake papers will not collect that amount of money per hour.
So what would they collect? Would they collect less or more?
They will collect more.
Also, can I say something? I feel like you're leaving a very important information out of the waiters stuff. There are waiters that accept jobs, right? And they get paid on tips. So most of those waiters and most of those restaurants, they have a 10% gratuity minimum, which in essence covers up for what the waiter is supposed to be paid from the companies. And that's based on the particular license you have from that business that can allow you to do that. So it's not all waiters or all restaurants, you know. And
I'm just saying that's happened since 2009.
You know what, guys? This conversation is never going to end. For the first time, you notice that Daddy Freeze did not insult anybody this conversation because I wanted this to be as open-minded as possible. I appreciate every single person that has come on here, most especially my biggest customer for today, Anthony Nkem Okpara. Thank you so much for the money guns, the motorcycle, and everything else you've sent. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you, Young Six. Thank you, Bio. Thank you, Bongo Lee. Thank you, Brume, who came in the afternoon. Thank you, my darling sister, Tosin Olu. Tosin Olu, for the first time, is the only girl that joined today. So I'm so glad to have had her on for that long. And all the other gentlemen whose names I might have forgotten or omitted, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. This is a conversation we need to have. There are people who want to relocate. They don't know what America sounds like. And there are some people in America who want to come back to Nigeria. They are not sure. All these conversations will equip us with information to make those decisions properly. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you all on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Young Six, Bongoli, thank you for always being there. And once again, thank you for being an encyclopedia of figures and economics. Take care. And everybody, good night. Young.